Arne, had a good week?
Till now I had, yes.
Right, good to see you. I know planning for next season, I'm sure, has been ongoing for some time now. Various media outlets this week reported that there is a release clause in the contract of Jeremy Frimpong at Leverkusen, and Liverpool are prepared to meet it. Is he the type of player that you would see as a replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold?
I think, again, it's going to be a boring answer. So for a whole season it was about contract extensions of 3 players. And now we're arriving in a time where everybody wants to know which players we're going to bring in. And the answer is going to be the same. We don't talk about the players we want to bring in public till the moment they've signed for us. And then you can ask me everything about them. What I can tell you is that we already have Conor Bradley, who can play really good in that position. Joe Gomez has played in that position multiple times. So it's not like when Trent is leaving, I have no clue what to do anymore. But as a club, we're always looking at interesting players that can strengthen our squad. But that's the general answer, not talking about an individual.
Just on an individual then, in Trent Alexander-Arnold, does he figure in your plans for these final 2 games? Have you had to have a chat with him about last week's experience and the mixed reception?
As you know, I wasn't here the last few days. And neither was Trent. So I haven't spoken to him yet. Today is the first day we come back together. We feel this is also a very good lead up to our game on Monday. Because I've said before that it's quite difficult for a team that already won the league to train so many days in a row. If you've already won something, so you need to find the balance between days off and prepare very well for the next game. So we train today, tomorrow and Sunday. That's three days in a row to be very well prepared for Brighton. Keep in mind that these players never had a few days off during the season because we were in the FA Cup, League Cup and Champions League. And of course the Premier League for a long time. So where other teams maybe had a few days off during the season, we hardly ever had that. That's not an answer to your question, but I wanted to make clear that. And then an answer to your question: if Trent is involved, yes or no. That is why I told you this, because it's the first day we train after a few days off. So it's quite early for me now to say what the team would look like and what the squad would look like for Monday.
Are you able to answer this one then? Is it a little harder in terms of motivating the players at this time because the main job has already been completed?
I think the honest answer is yes. Yeah. Although I cannot look in all of their heads, but I think it's clear to everyone if we would still compete for the Premier League, then there would have been a few days off as well, but probably we wouldn't have gone somewhere else. But because I don't think we're the only team, if you play on Sunday and next week is Monday, that you give them a few days extra. But yeah, I think the honest answer is that there is a difference. But if I look at the way we played the Arsenal game, I saw a team that wanted to compete against Arsenal from the first second till the last. Even when we were having some problems in the second half, they were able to come back into the game. So that tells you the mentality is still very good. But it was a home game. And what is the main thing for us is, it doesn't matter if we won the league, yes or no. If you play Chelsea away, Arsenal at home and Brighton away, these are difficult games to play. That's why I was also so happy that we were already enough points clear to clinch the title against Tottenham.
At the start of the season, you mentioned about wanting to improve away form. I know everybody speaks about the power of Anfield, but this could be a record-breaking season in terms of if you beat Brighton, it's the 12th away, but I think only 4 times in Liverpool's history has that ever happened. And that would also mean as well that you'd be the first team, full stop, in Liverpool's history to have scored in every single away game. Does that mean anything to you? Do you feel that is a sign that you have therefore improved away from home?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot to me. I didn't know the exact numbers. But yeah, I think one of the first games we played away, I've mentioned this to the players. I've showed them their away form in a team meeting in one of the away games. And I think this we have to improve. as one of the things we have to prove, not the only thing, if we want to be able to be there in the end, competing for the league. And that's what we've did really well throughout the whole season. Our away form has been good, but our home form has been quite good as well. And that's the only way in a difficult league like this to challenge, because so many good teams, so many teams are able to win more games in a row. So if you want to win the league over here, you need to have both good away form and good home form.
In terms of Brighton, they still fighting for a European place as well. In terms of the competition between the both of you, looking on a positive for the lads going away together, does that help bring them maybe a little bit more personally together on top of what they've already experienced this season?
That's the nice part of your jobs. If we win it, you will tell me this. If we lose it, we will get the blame for being a few days off and our head was somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. This is all the nice part of your job. For me, it is Chelsea away is one of the most difficult away games in the season. Brighton away, I do think you know what Arsenal did there, what City did there. So if we are not able to get a result over there, for me that has nothing to do with players enjoying a few days off. But this will probably be the story in the media. Or you would disappoint me, because in Holland this would definitely be the story of the media then. But maybe you guys pick a different idea. For me it's clear. That's why if we win it, then it's going to be brought as a positive thing. So there's only one truth, but as a journalist you can look at it from both ways. And you can be positive or negative about what we've done. What we know is we felt that this was a good way of preparing ourselves for the game on Monday, because the boys deserved a few days off. It's been a very long season for us, and we think 3 days lead up towards the game on Monday is more than enough time to be physically well prepared. If we are mentally well prepared for a very difficult game against a team that can play really well, that is something that has nothing to do with us being somewhere else or over here, but that does have maybe something to do that for us there's not, apart from winning a game of football, there's nothing else at stake.
I'm sure everybody will be positive.
Till now they've always been, so let's wait and see.
Mike?
Arne, during the summer at all football clubs there's player trading, and I don't expect any names or pat drill about what's going to be happening, but there are ins and outs. Is there still an element of make your mind up time for you with regard to some of the players that haven't played as many games as they would have liked to have done, in terms of balancing that out with players that would be on your list of potential incoming signings and those of the people involved in sort of incoming transfers?
You mean if I'm planning to play certain players to judge them one more time for next season?
Is it still make your mind up time, or you know, have those sort of judgments already been?
Nah, I don't think it would be fair to any player if you work with them for a whole season then to change your opinion on 1 or 2 games that are coming up. So I think our opinion has been made up over 10 to 11 months, and some of them play even long. All of them, except for Federico Chiesa, already played longer over here at this club. So I think we know quite well the quality of our players, and so the game against Brighton or the game against Palace is not to make up our mind or to change our mind in what we think about next season. No.
How difficult is it in a general sense when you're looking to alter the squad, alter the balance, bring in players, when perhaps to bring those players in you might need players to go for financial reasons for the side of the squad, when you have to have maybe difficult conversations with players and with players' agents? Is that really difficult, or does that just become part of what you have to do? Is there a brutal element to that?
No, first of all, then you assume that we are going to bring in new players. And I've said many times already that we as a club are very happy with the players we've got. But it's not always, it's part of our decision, but in some situations, players that haven't played a lot are not looking forward to another season not playing a lot. So there's always a ongoing process, and we have to make sure that we are prepared if we can strengthen the squad. This club has always done that, no matter if we have 19, 20, 21 or 22 players. If we feel we can strengthen the squad, we do so. But it's difficult to strengthen the squad because there's a reason why we won the league, and that's why because we have so many great players. So it's an ongoing process where we are talking about, and I think this club has shown so many times in the past that they will make the right decisions, and we've made the right decision last season as well, not to bring in a player at all, except for Federico Chiesa, and that worked out quite well. Or not? I think it did. Yeah. Yeah, you can also talking about the balance of journalists, about us being knocked out in the last 16 in the Champions League. So you can also look at it in a more negative way, if you want to.
Carl.
Hi. You mentioned Chiesa there. He's obviously had a difficult season. I just wonder how much the judgment could be helped make on him, considering he hasn't had much time. And does he deserve a bit more time, the next season to properly assess?
In terms of the quality he has, he would deserve more playing time at this football club or the club he's playing for, because he has the quality to play for us. But unfortunately for him, he's in competition with Mo Salah when it's about the right wing, I think he could also play as a left winger. But there's Cody Gakpo and Lucio Diaz, and I don't think I'm wrong if I tell you that these three have had all three of them have had a great season. So, and for him starting 1 or 2 or maybe even 3-0 down, because the moment he came in, he wasn't by a long time not as fit as the other players were. So that then, of course, doesn't help in the beginning, and before he was as fit as the rest. Yeah, the other ones did so well that there was not a lot of reason for me to change. And even to be in the squad then becomes difficult if Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota are there as well. But is he good enough to play for us? Yes, he is. But apparently, I've always felt that Lucio Diaz, Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah deserved the confidence I had in them, and I hardly ever changed that setup between the three of them.
And just on, you spoke about the importance of the break you've given the players just to get away from football. I just wonder how important it is for them to be able to celebrate what they've achieved in the season. Because I guess the opportunities to achieve what they've achieved don't come along that often, and the opportunity to celebrate it together don't really lend itself to football.
Not true. Normally, especially in this league, but in general, even in Holland, it's the last game. It's really special. You should watch it. It's about the last game, and normally in this league, it's also about the last game. And if you want it then, and you want to go after the season, then wives, girlfriends, children are like, yeah, come on, I haven't seen my dad for such a long time. Let's go on a holiday now with the family, which I can completely agree. So we were having the great position that not only we won it earlier on already, but also we've played on Sunday, and then the next game is on Monday. So, like I said, even if we wouldn't have won it yet, they wouldn't have had 4 days. I think they had 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days. But they probably would have had 2 or 3 then as well, because in the end of the season, you have to find the right balance in keeping them fit enough to play, but also get them mentally fresh. And that's what we've tried to do last week. Before the Arsenal game, they had a few days off as well, and this week also.
Hi, Arne. Just on Trent Alexander Arnold, how much of a danger is it, the situation around him overshadowing the end of the season celebration?
I was already happy that no one asked about it, so I thought, okay, we can leave this behind. No problem. Last week, people talked about it to me. Then, of course, we had the reaction of our fans in the stadium, which was different, positive and negative. Then all the pundits talked about it, the whole country talked about it, and I think now it's time to draw a line under that. Let's focus now on the fact that we've won the league, and for us to enjoy the upcoming 1.5 week with that feeling, and not talk and be distracted that much about Trent's situation.
Michael?
Hi Arne, just back to transfers. Obviously you've only got 2 more games left at this stage. It's not a huge amount of pressure on. Can I just ask, how much of your focus at the moment is actually on the games compared to transfers and thinking about the squad next season?
Did you show me this week at social media? Okay. No. Even if you are celebrating over there, that doesn't mean that the whole day you don't think about something else. But a larger part now is already, indeed, my thoughts are into next season than it would have been if this game of Monday and next week against Palace would have been decisive for us to either finish top 5 or win the league or whatever we had to do. But now it's clear what we've done. So I think it's a normal situation that my thoughts, if I'm on the couch tonight or another moment, are more into next season than they would have been if it was still very important. And that's also the challenge, not only for me, but even more for the players for the Monday game, because maybe their thoughts are already more on playing for the national team 1.5 weeks later, where these games are probably even more important to them than the upcoming 2 weeks. Although what people told me, Palace at home will be a very special one to look forward to. So yeah, probably that's the answer to your question. You think about it more, you have more meetings about that now than you would have had when it was even more important to win a game of football than it is now.
My last one on breakout.
Hi, Arne. We saw something a little bit different from Curtis Jones against Arsenal. He was dropping a little bit deeper, picking up the ball from the goalkeeper, maybe sitting next to Ryan a little bit further deep in the build-up. You mentioned there you're already thinking about next season. That's the kind of thing we often see in pre-season, these kind of changes. So do you think that this allowed you the ability to be able to make those kind of changes? Or you mentioned about motivation as well. Is he the kind of player who maybe you want to give him a different challenge to make sure he is motivated for these last few games?
You mean him, that he played a little bit deeper? Because normally McAllister plays in that position and I think he plays similar.
A lot of the time, Alisson will be giving the ball to Virgil and he'll be building up. But we saw Curtis coming a lot deeper and picking the ball up from the goalkeeper, which we haven't really seen a lot from the midfielders this season.
No, I think McAllister did this a few times as well, but it all depends also on the way the other team presses. So, and that was the good thing if you play a team like Arsenal, which is sometimes also the difficult thing, but you know what you can expect. And they have the quality and it's perfectly done by them, but you know what to expect. So then sometimes you give a little bit different details to your midfielders, how to do the build-up, than you might do in other games. So I wouldn't see too much into that. Is just a small detail. I think what we've changed throughout the whole season, the general idea of playing was the same, but we always tried to adapt to the way the other team wanted to press us. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.